Hello, friends, and welcome to A Little Room for Healing. Today is another special episode where we are turning the tables around, and I will not be providing the healing today. I will be receiving healing from Schuyler Brown, and she's here with me. I'm very happy to have her back after our really beautiful conversation that we had last episode, which actually was about a month ago now, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Joel.
So it's been about a month since we recorded our last episode together. And today she's going to hold space for me. And we're going to dig in and see what wants to move and what wants to be looked at and talked about and freed up inside of me. I'm very excited about it. And want to start again, as usual, with check-ins. Mm-hmm. And I'm feeling like it would be great if you went first today.
Okay, great. Feeling really comfortable. We've moved to my house and the space where I do most of my sessions. That already puts me in... it's like walking on stage for an actor, I'm guessing, or something like that, or on set or something. It's like, oh, we're on set. Like, my body knows where we're going. So I feel really at home, literally. I feel I've had a little chest colds that I'm recovering from. So there's a little just congestion presence here, but I feel so much better than I have in the last few days that there's a little jubilation. Like a little, like I might be well. And just really happy to be here. Just so honored and excited that we're doing this. And like you, just as so people know, we move into these sessions with no expectations and really no plan, but to follow what's most alive. And so I always have a little curiosity as I begin a session. I have a lot of regular clients, and so I kind of know what's up, but I never know what kind of session we're going to have. So we're in that place right now of the potentiality, and I like that place. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. I love that place too. Even if there's a part of me that wants to, before we start, want to be... Yeah.
That's the nature of things, right? It's like, I'm really happy to be here. I'm very curious, and part of me would like to just run.
Yeah, part of me is in start, like a sprinter's starting form, waiting for the gun to go off so I can get up out of here. Mm-hmm.
What other parts are present, Joel?
Part of me. I forgot what I was going to say though. That was great. Let's see. I'm going to check in. There is, I'm glad that you mentioned that we're at your house because I forgot to mention that. And it's something that I'm working on when I start off a podcast is I get, like, there are nerves when I start it off. And whenever I have something that feels planned to say, it doesn't move freely through me.
Yeah, I get it.
But when I'm in the moment, that's when things are like, okay, yeah, it doesn't matter. I'm not thinking. I'm not overthinking.
Yep. Yeah.
So I always forget that to mention some things, but it is lovely to be in your home. And I have been here before for a session with you, and it was beautiful. So I'm really glad that we get to bring in people to witness another one of those in your space with you holding. And okay, what is actually in me now beyond that is I feel really calm. I feel really relaxed. There's a little bit of a buzz going on in my head, in like a good buzz. This almost like I just ran a little bit, like that buzz you get in your head after you run, you do a nice jog. And I am curious about what's coming up, what's going to come up, because I'm actually feeling a lot lighter than usual, and I feel more alive than maybe other times that I've sat down for sessions. And I think that's a good thing to come in with, to experience. My therapist, about really close to when I first started seeing him 10 years ago, and I was I was a wreck when I came in. Maybe it was like a year in, and I started like seeing glimpses of happiness. And he mentioned to me, he believes that people should go to therapy even when they're happy, and maybe more importantly when they're happy, because it's not something we're used to, and we need to adjust to it, and we need to actually look at the happiness, and the happiness is uncomfortable sometimes, and joy and comfort is uncomfortable sometimes, and we just think, oh, we're happy, we're good, but how do we maintain it, and how do we sit in it, how do we be with it in our systems, because our systems are so used to depression and anxiety and fear. So I'm glad that that's coming up right now. That is my check-in. That's my check-in.
Amazing. Okay. So you want to start?
Yeah, let's start.
Okay. Hold on. Yeah, I just want to say I really agree with your therapist, because I totally agree that a lot of us have trouble holding the highs, also, including myself, or integrating the joy or the bliss, like just stabilizing in that place, like instead of it being like a respite, like, ugh, phew, I'm out. I'm in the clear, so, nothing to work on. It's like, hold on. And I actually sometimes will sit with clients, like I have regular, weekly clients, and a lot of them are in crisis when they come, and then they're having a hard time most of the time when we're having sessions, and then they'll have a break or a breather, and they'll be like, I don't know what to talk about today. I'm like, tell me what the happiness feels like. Like, let me in. Like, let's experience this break. Ooh. Yeah, let's be in okayness together. Like, ooh. Yeah. Like, we don't do that culturally, so like, like, oh, what a gift. So yeah, I never worry if I'm happy if I have clients and clients graduate. There is also a natural end point. Sometimes it's like really clear to both of us, like, hey, I think it's time for me to move on, but I am always open to the possibility that someone can come in feeling great. So here we are.
Yeah, it's interesting because I do feel great. There are things that I want to actually bring up in your presence with your knowledge and your skill set that don't necessarily have to do with happiness, but maybe they do.
Well, let's check.
Yeah, I've been wanting to update you on where I am.
Okay. Well, if you don't mind, if we're gonna go, like, let's go. So what's standard for me is that, and you can edit this out if you want, but I like to sit for just a minute in silence. And what I'm doing is grounding, feeling myself, my own energy, feeling you, and then also going up into, like, sensing up into a more subtle contact point with you, and I do this with every client. If we're on Zoom, I do it. If we're in person, I do it. And it's like a consent from your higher self, and just I get a lot of information in this first moment when my higher self is in contact with yours, and I'll ask, like, what are we working on? and sometimes I'll get images, and sometimes I'll get pretty clear instruction, and I often just don't share it. I just keep it in mind, but I just want to let you know that, because we have done a session before. My regular clients know that that's what I'm doing when we go quiet. If I have a new client, I will definitely ask, can I contact your higher self? Can I contact your guides? Can I contact your subtle helpers? And so that's what I'll do. So let's just sit for a minute. Okay. Yes, wherever you want to start, whatever's coming up.
I first want to say that in that silence, when you are connecting, the sensation came over me of being seen. And there was this, my eyes are even watering. There's an emotion in there of feeling seen, and someone actually looking to see. And it felt that the emotion that came up was, what was it? Like, this doesn't happen often. Like, I don't know what that emotion is, but this doesn't happen often, and it feels really good, especially when it's done by someone who's coming in with love. So
it's like, it's sacred.
Yeah.
Precious was the word that came to me when you said it doesn't happen often. Yeah.
Yes, that's a perfect word. Yeah. So already.
That's actually why I ask. Because I know it is precious. It's intimate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
It really opens you up too. I'm just like, holy.
I know.
Love it.
Holy,
love it.
It is so. I feel like I want to share a little bit of what I saw.
Please. Oh yeah, please.
Because there were a lot of beings there with you, and there was like a pastoral scene, like a shepherd kind of a scene, and it was really very beautiful. And I don't always know what it means, and usually at some point I'll kind of get where we're going. But I was asking, like, what are we doing? What do we want to work on? And yeah, and there was a lot of ecstasy, actually. There was a lot of like a love of life kind of a feeling, a lot of peace. And then something about the sheep and the shepherd, it was almost like you as like what you're doing here, this project being some kind of a dissemination of these kinds of the healing, of the teachings of the healing. So anyway, I just want to say wherever I met you was very pastoral, very peaceful, very beautiful, and you were being attended. So yeah, so when we're feeling a lot right now, partly because we're in the presence, like we just took ourselves into the presence of a lot.
The experience of being in the container with you right now is, my skin is waving with pricklies and vibrations, and like good pricklies. I don't even know this word. That's not the word I'm actually looking for. It's just the one that so I just wanted to state that feels amazing. Do you know what beings were around me or are around me?
you know, I'm always trying to be careful about projecting. And we know each other, you know, like outside of a clinical, like a therapeutic context. So I'm trying to like parse through what I know of you and your I don't think it's not super clear, for one. There are a lot of robes. So that's but whenever I see robes, I already know that I'm in the presence of something angelic, usually. Not all the deities are wearing robes, the archetypes aren't wearing robes, so that's a clue. Yeah, like there's a Christian kind of like the shepherd. I was like, really? Like, are we gonna be that up? But sometimes it's literal and sometimes it's a symbol. But there was something just very, like I keep saying, pastoral about the experience and very peaceful.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That I feel like that leads into the update that I wanted to give you.
Great.
To start off, I have been working on my attachment to my urethra trauma and releasing it. And that was in the last Turn the Tables episode. That's what I worked on with Robin. And it was amazing. We had something moved. And then last Friday night, which is, as of this recording, 3 days ago, I did a journey with Syrian Row, and my intentions were two things. One, to take another step forward in my attachment, releasing my attachment with that trauma, and two was to connect further and get a deeper understanding of angels.
It's working.
Yeah.
Oh, it's very beautiful. Wow.
Yeah, and both things happened in the journey.
Wow.
I actually feel like I had one of the big experience of the night was I was actually surrounded by angels, and it was just like this cove, this gentle cave that I was in the middle of, angelic cave, and I was twisting and like not even like painfully writhing, but moving around and realized that they've been holding me and that they're holding me, and they were like, now you're actually here ready to connect with us, and the one thing that we needed that was kind of blocking that was your attachment to this trauma. And then it just went poof, the attachment to the trauma just like disappeared. And the rest of the night was just a night of celebration, and it felt like a graduation, and it felt like I have this so much space in me now, and like it's just so open, and I've seen all these things in a whole new perspective. Dominoes were falling down about relationships to my family, to women, to all these things, to healing myself, and I'm feeling really open. Feeling so incredibly open right now, and light, and like I'm integrating that and adjusting to a whole new world in my experience. So that's where I am right now.
Can I just give you a potential reframe?
Yes, please.
Okay. I was catching the word release. My attachment to this trauma was catching the release, because there's a dualistic fixation. It's like that sometimes if we can, like, there's nothing to release in a way, right? Like already if you're holding it as something I need to get out, you know, then we have something, it's like reifying the thing. But I was sitting with that as I was listening, and then the angels seem to do exactly that for you, right? Like they're like, we got you. And what did they say? There's nothing. What was the sentiment that you got that allowed you to release?
It was the I don't know exactly word for word what I just said, but the idea that it was that I was like ready to connect with them.
Right. Okay.
And they were like,
that was in the way, and
that
now
was the block.
Okay. And then what happened?
And then it was like, phew.
Right. Okay. Exactly. So yeah. So I like to use the word liberate. So there's like a liberation of stuck energy, right? Back into. I feel like you and I were here before. It's like that energy that's on lockdown is your life force energy. It's not other, you know. And there are things that are other in our systems that we have to attend to. But when it comes to something like a trauma like that, that energy is your life force. And so as soon as something allows you to like release, liberate, then that energy just gets to be free, right? It just gets to circulate through this. It's like you have so much more space. And you're describing all of that really beautifully. So I just want to acknowledge that. And just maybe now, like, even eliminate the idea that there was something you let go of out. Do you know what I mean? Because I think what you're describing is more of like, I got it back. I got my energy back, my life force, more life force.
Yeah. I think the reason I was using release is because it felt like gripping and holding. That is like, this is locked in right here.
Right. That's beautiful. I mean, hallelujah.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, so beautiful. So beautiful. Why are we here? I'm just kidding. Oh, it's so beautiful.
Yeah, so liberated.
Okay, so that's your update?
I feel liberated. That was my update.
Wow.
That was my update of where I am. And even when it was happening and I knew that we were going to do this, I was thinking, what am I going to work with Schuyler on? And then I thought, there's so much stuff that can come up from just the liberation of it.
Right.
And there's other things in there that are getting used to flowing and getting used to being looked at.
Let's look at that.
Yeah, that's the stuff that I want to look at with you.
Okay, we can look at it right now because I can already feel it.
What are you feeling?
Let's just slow down. Yeah. As soon as you started, you went like this. There are things that are wanting to flow or something. You said that I got really curious about what was happening there. Well, here's my question, I guess. The question would be, how does it feel in your body for things to flow now that they're flowing?
It feels spacious, alive. I feel connected. I feel powerful.
Okay, well, I want to hear more. Hold on. So I'm just tracking something. So if you're... Yeah, stay with me for a sec, can you? Yeah, all right. Okay. It's intense, right? So... my question is, like, if you imagined, which is the case, that you were a bunch of energetic channels, are the channels, like, do they have the capacity for this energy right now, or do they feel a little bit like, whoa, like it's a lot of energy running through us? Where are the channels at? And the way you might feel that is tightness. If it's a lot of energy for the channels, they could feel a little tight.
here and here feels really open.
Yeah, so your right side.
Both sides.
Okay.
Both arms
Okay.
and up my head.
Okay.
And then it does still feel a little tight in the sacral
Solar
area.
plexus.
Solar plexus.
Right.
Things.
Okay. Good. Okay. So let's work with that. Let's just sit for a minute. We're just gonna attune like a little bit more subtle. So you just gave me a really good description of the sensation, like the level of the subtle body sensation. Now, and I'm also curious about the level of emotion. Like you began to tell me some things, like you were feeling powerful. What other emotions are you aware, and if you're aware of any, are present?
There's joy, glee, hope. Excitement. There's a part of me that's still searching for discomfort and the tightness and the shame.
Right, like a vigilance. Okay. So do you feel grounded? Like all of those feelings, like the joy, the glee, feels grounded or not so grounded?
It feels pretty grounded to me.
Okay.
I think.
Here's the.
I say that and then I'm like, I feel like you're feeling that it's not as grounded as I think it is.
It's always tricky because I don't want to suggest something and then have it be your experience. So that's why I'm asking a lot of questions. I want you to report your experience first.
Right.
Okay. I will say there are some places where your report doesn't match what I'm experiencing, and then I'm curious. So then I'll ask more questions about that thing, or I keep watching, because, and also we're newer to working together. Again, like with a regular client, I'm going to know their capacity for feeling. With you, I don't know in this kind of a space. I have a sense that you're very good, is my sense, but I don't know where your edges are, and so I'm just... like patiently watching, waiting. I don't want to be like, Joel, come on. I would never. But you asked, do I feel like it's maybe not as grounded as you feel? Yes. So what I'm feeling is that, and you can, if this is not your experience, then that's fine. I feel all of the glee and the elation, even before when I said that it seems like there's a lot of ecstasy, there's a lot of something like that wants to be expressed. So I can feel that with you. I loved your report about the solar plexus and the lower chakras, maybe feeling like not as online. Yeah. That's it. That's what I'm talking about. So it feels to me like there's a lot of energy and not quite the capacity to let it... Like, if you're really open, so we're working on what the Buddhists would call like a Vajra body, or subtle body, a bliss body. And it needs to be exercised. It needs to expand to hold the ecstatic reality of life itself, right? So as we're healing and we're integrating more of this energy, the channels have to open correspondingly. And I think like in the West, we really are used to, we like to be caffeinated, we like to be up, right? But there's a grounded, like there's a way of holding the ecstasy, the joy that you're feeling that's also, like I'm doing it now, I can sense that you're sensing that, right? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is something else that we're doing together, is co-regulating. So, yeah. So, wow, you're really good. See? I feel you. There's a little fear. I don't know if you felt that. As soon as we go down and we start to ground this energy, it's very common, but we'll hit, like I felt us hit a little bit of like, wah, because some of the up elation that electric feeling, it's like, it's actually resistance. It's a way of not letting the ecstasy flow.
Interesting.
Do you see what I'm saying? Because to let ecstasy run through all your channels in your entire body freely is very intense.
I believe it.
And where we want to go.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what we're working on. All right, wow, yeah, perfect. All right, now I feel more aligned. I feel like we're with each other. But I'm curious if you want to report on what your experience. You know, I just gave you a lot of information.
I feel now warmer. The vibrational motion that I was feeling before is subdued, but I still feel light, and I know that those emotions are still alive in me, but they're not making themselves as physically present.
How's the prickly?
Yeah, that's the stuff. That's
a little bit
subdued.
lower, right? Yeah. Okay, so wait, let's just stay with that for a sec. That's really good, because we can ground more. Like, I don't know if you resonate with this, but like, there's a way that we're a little addicted to the prickly.
I resonate with that.
Yeah, I know. It's like, how do you? It's like, but how would I know that I'm in joy if I don't feel? You know, it's like, oh wait.
Oh, that's
We want to walk around like this is nothing new. It's just like, I am bliss. I am joy. I am peace. Like, that's what we're meant to do, radiate that, right? And in a grounded way, walking amongst men, like just walking through the marketplace, like picking apples at the grocery store, you know, just radiating bliss. But the only way to do that really is to be grounded. It's very rare, because everyone right now, or at least, you know, like a lot of us right now are still like, like that means happy.
This is cool.
This is why your therapist was right. There's a lot of work to integrate. Oh, it makes me want to cry. That actually really touches me. There's a lot of work to integrate happiness. God bless us that we finally get there, you know? Like, when you've been slogging it out through the underworld journeys, and then you finally get to some happiness and some joy, right? There's a little bit of work to be there.
It's like we're so used to this to the slug. That's the word. The slugging. The
Slog.
The slog. Thank you. We're so used to the slog that I'm realizing what I was doing was slogging in the happiness. I was like, I'm gonna make happiness work. I'm gonna make it be work.
Right.
Not make it work, but make it be work. Because that's the only way I know how to. My system is familiar with. That's what it's familiar with. It's not the only way it knows how to do it.
Right.
I just have to retrain it how to. It just needs to relearn how to do it.
Yeah. Exactly.
So that's cool.
Yeah, and I mean, this is why we have. I mean, you know, like Tibetan Tantra. You know, the subtle body, like this is a whole, you know, among many other things, they've perfected the art, the yoga, the inner yogas of building up that subtle body that can hold an ecstatic, blissful experience grounded in the body. I know, right?
There it goes again. I just got excited about something, and did you feel it? It started shooting again.
I actually felt tears. Are those mine or yours? Touched
Tears. Yeah. There were tears of like, this is really great for me in this exact moment of where I'm headed.
Oh wow! All right.
And it made me happy, and yeah, I got emotional.
Ooh. Okay. But tell me about the up on the left side.
Because I connected with what you were saying about the subtle bodies, and being, and then also into what we were talking about of being grounded in the happiness. Now I'm getting emotional. There's an excitement and a joy of I'm on a journey of opening up my body to hold and be able to experience more sensuality. And now I'm seeing that integrating and grounding in the feeling of fluidity and experience and joy and happiness is part of that journey. So I just got excited about that, and that made me emotional, and it made me unground again because I got excited.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, that's really cool. Ooh. Yeah, it's like practicing. It's practice of like living in a miraculous state. Right? Because if we're like, oh my gosh, every time the miracles happen, we jump out. It's a way of jumping out, right? It's actually a way of mitigating the intensity of the happiness of the bliss experience. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay, so this is beautiful. We're in the tantric world right now. Right?
Yeah.
Right. So this place is like relating, now that we're in like really in my sweet spot, it's like relating in a place where the range of emotions is extremely vast, that we have access to the low lows and the high highs, right? Sounds like you're getting access to the high highs. Amazing. But it's not easy. But ultimately you're gonna we master the range, and it changes quick, the changeability, but we can be with whatever's here. We can be with whatever's here. I mean, that's one of the funny things, like in a lot of healing spaces, you have a lot of people who are really comfortable in the lower ranges. I mean, I was that person for a very long time, and not as comfortable in the higher. And so it's like, oh, everybody who walks through the door has something to be healed, and we're really good at it. It's like everybody with a hammer sees a nail. But can you actually also guide people or hold people through the ecstatic experience that might actually blow their fuses? We got to build the fuses.
Oh, yeah.
So that's it. So it's like titration, you know? It's like little by little by little by little by little. Yeah.
Just in September, late August, early September, I was going through the process of titrating fear into my system. It's so cool. And it was uncomfortable. And while this feels good, I can see how it is uncomfortable in a way that is masquerading as high level goodness. And I love that I get to now titrate that into my system.
Right? Well, it helps a lot to have access to the lower chakras. It helps a lot to have the root, to have the sacral, to have the solar plexus. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So let's go back to the body. Like, let's get an update on where you're at.
Okay. I have something, but I want to feel in a little bit more.
Yeah, whatever's coming.
I know what the fear was.
Oh, okay.
That we touched on before.
Yeah.
As we were going down. And that is, I have such a disconnect to the root that when we were taking the vibrational stuff that I'm enjoying as blissful,
right,
and trying to ground it into it, I got scared that the grounding, that I'm going to lose it because I can't ground.
Right. Yeah, I get it. You might for a minute, you know what I mean? That's part of titration, right? It's like, but ultimately we want a sustained experience, right? Like more of this as baseline, right? I think that's what we all want. And in order to do that, we have to go in. We got to go to the root. So, yeah, that's cool. But yeah, let's go to the root and let's see. Let's just like park that reason, you know, that I got scared because, and then fill in the blank. We don't. That sounded good. It's probably something, but there might just be fear in the system. Could be, we don't know. Let's just. It might be residual from the whole experience, you know. And by the way, collectively in Western culture at this time, almost no one is rooted. Like the root is like anytime I start to go down with someone, there's fear, unless they have already worked on the base, because the existential nihilism, the voidness of going down, like going down into the body, is really scary. And you know, even if you didn't have the kind of acute trauma that you had, we all have that disconnect. And so so we tread lightly. Like I'm already like, you know, like I'm calibrating with you. I'm like trying to meet you and take, like my body is working with your body even as my mouth is talking. And I'm like, come on, come sit with me on the ground. It's really nice. And your body's like, I don't know. Do you know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. Yes, I do. That's good. I love that visual. That actually helps me.
Yeah. And it's cool because you can actually feel the way the energy is like, right? We're all pulling up out of the base.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Amazing. Okay, so right there, look. So we're going down, right? And as we go down, so we're going to hit your trauma, but also collective. Like you grew up, you were gestated in a body that wasn't open at the root, most likely, unless you had a really special mom. And you were born into a culture where almost none of the bodies that were holding you and receiving you were grounded. This is our predicament. This is the situation. So we can fix this. Like we can repair this. That's a better word. But as soon as we start to go there, it's like we have to be, it's like a wild animal, right? It's like if you go directly in, you know, and I'm not even gonna like look at you while I do this because your energy body is tracking me and it's like threat, you know. But if we try to like just open the root, you know, it's like it's not gonna work. It will, you know. We have to feel safe. That's the open root is stability, safety, primordial safety. That's it. So that's what we're looking for. And so if we don't feel safe, that's fine. Then we just be with the not safe. It's like, I think I'm about here. This is where I'm at right now. All right. Okay. So let's just check. That's good. Pretty good. How do you feel?
I don't know.
What do you mean?
I don't know how I feel. Like you're saying pretty good, and I'm like, really? To me, nothing is happening.
Nothing is happening. Oh, you feel nothing?
I feel nothing really moved from when we like do it to that's good.
I felt you more in yourself, more centered in yourself. Maybe you were feeling yourself. So what I suspect is that we're hitting some numbness.
I was just going to say.
Yeah.
It's numb.
That's great. Amazing. That's what we know right now. Let's just be with that, okay? Numbness? I don't know if you agree with me. I think you will. Very uncomfortable. Is it for you?
It feels standard.
Familiar? Standard. Okay, standard. Great. Okay, so let's be with standard. Okay. It's weird. For me, the numbness is weird. It's a little dissociated. Yeah, like, where are we right now? Like, if you check on your relationship to me, what's it like?
A little wobbly.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Like, starting to get possible double vision.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so let's back off a little bit. Yeah, we're just gonna back off like we're just hanging out. Yeah, it's beautiful. I mean, that level of subtlety of feeling, of presence to your experience, to our experience. It's like, yeah, that's where we're at right now. That's where you're at with the root. That's it. You know. It's great. Most people have no idea. And then we can check again, and we're not forcing anything. Like, we don't need anything to happen. It would be miraculous if we were sitting here and you're like, and the root opened and you were suddenly rooted. Like, it's a process. It's a process. It's a process. But the first thing is just going there and being like, whoa, it's a little wobbly for me. My experience of reality is a little wobbly when I'm there. Right now.
Talking about you?
No.
Talking about me?
Yeah. Yeah. What's going on?
I was going to comment on how when we released that first time, I got emotional. And I was trying to figure out why, instead of just, I mean, I could just be in the emotion of it.
The past. Okay, what's happening now?
Now I'm feeling a rigidness in trying to connect with you in my system. Like, I'm trying to force a solid connection.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe, yeah, you can back up.
Even right after that nice sentiment of what you just said, of that without expectation of anything big happening.
Yeah. I mean, it's beautiful that you say that, because it's just to be with the, like, oh yeah, I feel that. It's a little harder to connect. And then the system's like, something's like, I gotta connect, you know? No expectations. We don't know where we're going right now. It's like Willy Wonka on that boat. Do you know what I'm talking about? A little less sinister, hopefully.
Yes, please.
Never know.
I mean, if that's where it goes, it goes there. Because I have a slight attachment to it, not maybe desire.
Right. Well, what I notice, like, I'm just gonna throw something out there, you know. It's like, and then like something creeps in, like, oh, but something has to happen. That's, as you well know, as seasoned as you are, like, that's already a problem for something to happen. Yeah. Right? Because where we're at right now is just, oh, it's time to surrender again. We're in the process. Yeah. That's it. boy, would we like to control it.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. Where do you go in moments like this?
Are you asking me?
Mm-hmm.
I was feeling, I was feeling like I was actually now so tuning in and connecting stronger. There was having talked about the rigidity and having that laugh, and then hearing you again say expectations, like it's okay that it happens, and that we're just here doing it. And when we got that permission to just be here doing it, I felt safer again.
Yeah. Amazing. I hope everybody who's listening feels safer. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, Jesus, how many meetings have you been to? How many phone calls? Like, how many conversations? Like, something has, how many dates?
Mm-hmm.
You know? It's like, how many sex acts?
Mm-hmm.
Right? We're talking about sexuality, the performance anxiety,
Mm-hmm.
I can feel that touches something. You know, it's like the fear of rejection, the fear of expectation, you know, not for living up to the fear. It's not going to be, you know, what.
The like, fear of judgment.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
That's for
me.
For you.
For me.
But what would it, like, we're right now in the space of, like, we could just drop that. Your face.
What happened?
You gave a great face. It was like, it was almost French.
I had to drop it. I don't even know how to do French. What was that? It was like an Italian visiting some other country trying to speak French. I don't know what that was.
And so I'll usually go, I asked you where you go in this, like in a moment like this. I'll go one of two places. I'll go either, well, the first thing I was going to say was trust, faith. Like really, really having faith that we'll get what we need. That makes me want to cry because it's so beautiful when you really believe that that's true and it keeps happening.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, why do I doubt? Why do I get to this place where I doubt?
Yeah.
So faith, and I go up for that, and then, or down into the body. I'm like, what's happening? Let's look. You know? So those are the anchor points for me. And sometimes I'm like really in touch with what's going on in the body, and I need more trust. And sometimes I have a lot of trust, but I'm not actually in touch. And so, yeah. How's that landing for you, or what comes up for you?
That, wow. First thing that comes up is I'm in the process of being able to be in my body.
Mm-hmm.
I worked so hard to be and to like be with the discomfort of my body that I finally did that, and now like I'm feeling the process almost starting over again with this good feeling.
Yeah, right.
And it's interesting, but I feel like I have a leg up on the game because of all the work I did with the discomfort.
Right.
So, and having said that, that actually builds my connection to the trust. That was cool. That was cool. Ooh, that was cool.
You definitely have a leg up. Yeah. I think we've been just this whole time, like, integrating pleasure, integrating some of the feelings that you were already having that were kind of big and up, bringing them a little bit more in. And then we went to the root and it got wobbly. Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we're recovering, that's all. That's it. That's it.
There was this experience I had a little bit ago where I felt what you just said something about. I forget exactly what you just said, but it reminded me of this, of digging into the pleasure, feeling into the pleasure and being with the pleasure. An experience I had a little bit ago was this rush of, man, I really love you, Schuyler. And it was like so good in me, and like and it's different in this experience than it has been when I was working with you in the more harder, harder isn't the word, more of the other end of the spectrum, discomfort with sadness and stuff, when I felt that same kind of feeling, but it was like, I'm really grateful for you being here with me. Yeah. Like there was a lot of gratitude. Yeah. And there's gratitude here, but it was like, oh wow. Yeah. Like you can feel love, like my body can feel love for someone. Yeah. Yes. Wow. Wait, say more. What's happening? You know? And it's like this in the chest right here. Yeah, just that's amazing. Yeah. I mean, that's, for me, like the Sacred Heart. Marriage of the below and the above. Love. I mean, I don't want to name your experience. You just gave it to me. Mm-hmm. I just felt it. I just received it from you. Yeah, so this is like, I feel like we're kind of like these, you know, the body's process, the somatic process, the integration process has cycles, right? Movements. And so I'm always watching, like, where are we in the cycle? You're such a good listener. I feel it so deeply received. And we're tracking. But that's what, you know, so I'm watching, like, I think we're completing a cycle. Do you feel that way? Can you say more? Or maybe it's layers. For me, it's like layers or cycles. You know, like we peel a layer away, and then, or we liberate a layer, reintegrate, you know, a layer, and there's a natural, like, beginning, middle, and end to process. You know, there are all these cycles. So, like, mini cycles in our conversation, and then major movements. My sessions are usually about an hour, and so it's like the whole process kind of has, it's like within my body, like there's kind of that major movement of about an hour. It's like, okay, we're going to move through a process because I want to leave you feeling stable, right? I'm not going to leave you dysregulated. I'm not going to leave you in, you know, right? I mean, I think this is like 101, but worth saying. It's like, I want to make sure that you're good before we come out. And so I would check in with you now and say, like, is there anything else? Is there something else to look at? Is there anything up? Like, how you doing? Like, that kind of thing. I feel a sneeze coming on. I hope it comes. I hear what you're saying about the cycle, and yes, that lands. I do feel more centered at this moment in the process. It was like we felt it into, and then we moved down and felt the fear, and then we pulled out, and in the pull out something even moved. I got emotional when pulled out, and then we went back in, gently back in, and like it landed, and it feels like a nice grounded place inside without pushing to the edge. Exactly. Yeah, I wanted to say, like, so maybe a little, I mean, it's hard to go back, but it's like a little of that emotion when we respected
I find that a lot, especially with people who do a lot of healing, who are used to penetrating, like going to the scary places. Like sometimes just to respect. Sometimes the young one, the trauma itself is like, oh, whew, okay, you know, thank you, like thank you for respect, you know. Just in this world, like, I don't know how many times I've just said, okay, it's fine. Like, let's back off. And people are like, right?
Yeah.
Like, we don't need to go there. Let's just go let's go. And we pushed. We did, right? We didn't, we went there. You felt something.
It wasn't a forceful push. It
Right.
was a really loving
No,
push.
exactly.
It was a loving
It was
push.
like, exactly. It was a little like, okay, and good.
And when you just like when you say let's pull back and people go
Yeah.
I actually found that when we did that, that's when something moved,
Right. Exactly. Right.
because there was like a respect that was given to the edge, and the edge feels that, and it's like, oh, okay, we're in a relationship now,
and it's safe, right? Because it's all about safety. It's like, oh, I trust you more because you're not gonna push me somewhere we can't come back from. Yeah. So trust, safety, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And you know, if you came back, and I hope you will, you know, we would go again. You know, we could go check again.
So good. Very good. The sitting in your container, even without, I don't know, forget that, even without sitting in your container is already, you get a sense of being lovingly held, and the energy around my body is warm and contained and safe, and I have so much appreciation for your container and how you hold, and so much gratitude for you and what you do and what you've helped do with me today.
Yeah. It's an honor. Feels really good. Thank you for the appreciation. Maybe let's close. Do you want to close the session and then we can reflect a little bit?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Just want to honor your work today. I hope I've never had a session recorded, like video recorded. This is the first time. So I hope it transmits. Like, I hope it, because there was a lot of subtlety, and it makes me want to cry, because we were able to go really deep. So even though maybe, like, you're so skillful, we're both skillful is basically what's happening. And so we were touching like pretty wide open fields and able to do it with a lot of skill, and that you were willing to go there in front of the cameras and for the benefit of people. It's like so brave, so beautiful. So yeah, thank you for inviting me to do this, and that was great work. And I can feel your progress. Like, it's such an honor. It's so cool to, like, yeah, I remember how you felt before. I feel you now. I'm like, I'm in the presence of a different being. Same being, different energetics. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you for that reflection.
That was really fun.
That was a lot of fun.
Okay. I want to do some reflecting.
Yeah, let's do it.
I just, like, yeah, that was really fun because it's a dance, right? Do you feel that? I mean, it's like I'm watching to see if I can ask the questions, you know, that will take us to these different places. I always want you to be I don't know, control's not the right word, but like sovereign in your energy, right? Like, you're leading the process. I'm responding, but I'm I can see the edges. So I'm like, shall we wait, pause, and I'm really watching with a lot of attention to your capacity or whoever's sitting with me. Like, what's the capacity? Because, and we went, like, as I was saying, there were moments when there was a lot of expansive bliss energy, like where we were in a really big psychoactive field. And I was like, do I dial down? Can I dial up? We need the root. I'm like watching the whole process. Like,
what is something that what are you seeing or feeling that says, oh, we can dial it up?
Grounding. Yeah, we can. I mean, we can dial it up. I probably err a little bit on the side of caution. Like, I had my first women's retreat in October, and it was with a bunch of women who knew me well, and they kept saying, dial it up. We trust you. Dial it up. And I don't, and so I did, and it was really scary for me to get that permission and to actually dial it up. So usually I'm like cautious. I'll go there. We did a good step up an octave, but I think it's responsible. For one, just try to be responsible for people's, the experience that people have. Like, good dosage, I guess, would be the equivalent for a shaman. I love your question, because I guess I could probably, like, I'm usually watching for the cautionary signs more than the upper limits. Like, if you're like, we're good, let's fly. I don't know what I'd do.
Well, I mean, part of the dialing it up is actually, is it possible to dial it up with what the numbness is allowing, right? So, like, you are looking at the cautionary stuff.
Yeah. In
the dialing it up.
Well, what I know from my own experience is that I've gone too far without the root. I actually literally had a teacher say to me, you can't go any higher, you will lose your mind. You will actually crack up. And he was right. So, and that's when I applied myself for years to finding the ground. Because I was on an ecstatic bliss ride and almost in an alternate reality a lot of the time. And it was really addictive. It was really addictive and experience, and I was cracking up from time to time a little bit, like barely holding on to reality. And so I went to a proper teacher, John Churchill in this case, and started working with him one-on-one and joined his sangha and did the practices and like found my way to opening the lower chakras. And for the past couple of years have been then figuring out this integration of all the energy of the below, the earth, basically the kundalini, the earth, the feminine, and the above, like these masculine, transcendent, godlike energies, which they converge in the heart. And it's always a titration process. Like, I'm always finding my own edge and bringing more root or bringing more of the above. It's like always, like sometimes I'll bring too much of this energy and then I get like really shaky, really ungrounded, like really speedy, basically. And then it's like, all right, I have to sacrifice a little bit of that and go back to the earth. And then I'll get in the earth and it feels really good, but then I'll get heavy, or I'll get lethargic, or I'll get earthy, or I'll get mundane, or I'll get like whatever the earth, like too material in a way. So it's like spirit and matter, right? Just constantly. And I don't know what the destination. I mean, I don't know.
Is there a destination?
I don't know. I don't think. I think it just. I don't know.
Sounds like this is a practice.
Yeah. So that's what I'm. I mean, that's what I'm watching. I guess that would be the explanation for my caution, is that you can actually, like, the wheels can come off.
Yeah. Yeah. That.
You can
sense.
Overdose basically on anything, right?
You. Hearing you talk about your experience with that and your practice with that reminded me that you hold these joy of embodiment workshops, right? And it clicked into me why, I don't know if this is true, but for me it landed like, oh, this is why she landed with joy of embodiment, because you worked so long and hard on grounding into the body and into the root. And I was like, oh my God, now I get it.
Yeah.
Now I get it.
You're ready to teach it. No, it was like that for me.
I'm not ready to teach it. I'm ready to do more with you. I'm ready to work more with you.
No, it was exactly that. Like, it was so hard for so long to be in the body, but there was no other way. But then one day I began to integrate, I began to feel the fruits of being in the body, and actually, like, I was like, oh my God, it's a joy. Like, it feels radical, but the joy of embodiment, felt like something I wanted to share.
Yeah, it's so cool. I'd done one with you before, and I loved it. I'm about to do another one with you.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited about it.
I'm really excited about it, too. I don't know what we're going to do exactly. But, yeah, I'm always, like, teaching at my edge so that the experience is alive for me as well as the people in the space. And so I hear the call, like, I get the instruction, but it's pretty raw. And then depending on who shows up, we kind of co-create the...
Do you do a lot of preparation beforehand of, like, this is how I want it to go, or...
Yes and no. I mean, yes and no. I think, like, there's always the balance between the structure and the emergence, right? You got to have a structure for the emergence to happen. Yeah, it's you know exactly. You said it at the beginning. It's like if I plan too much, I stifle the creativity and the emergence, and I get hung up on what my plan was. And if I don't plan at all, it can just be too loosey-goosey. It's like, where are we going exactly? So I'm always, like, looking for that balance. Yeah,
that's another one of your things, the art of emergence, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. You're finally getting, you're like,
I
this
see
is
you,
what
Schuyler.
she does.
I see you.
Exactly.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. It's like actually quite...
Why not put it on the nose? So good. Oh.
That was so beautiful. I mean, truly, though, when you felt the love, I was like, oh, wow. And I felt, like, you said this body can feel love, and I felt your whole body as love.
It's like I have felt love for someone before, but in this context and in this particular work we were doing today, it felt like I understood what it meant in my body for the first time. Oh, that makes me want to cry. It's really beautiful, and it is something special that our bodies can hold. And we can, like, actually, and, like, this work is actually going to help me do work to deepen it and be able to hold more and feel it more, and that's really exciting.
Yeah, and be that. Just be that walking around. Like, be that when you're sitting in the room with people. Be that when you're in an argument, you know, like, just be that, you know, be that at the Walmart when people are, like, really having a rough time. Like, just, I mean, this is, like, to bring it back to the Christ, like, this, just walking through the world, like, it's a goal for me, you know, not this lifetime necessarily, but, like, when I became a yogi, enlightenment was a goal. I was like, I'm going to do it. Like, this life, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do what they're talking about. I'm going to figure out what they're talking about. I'm going to get there. And then when I really began to I mean, I say this with a lot of humility because as soon as I say I understand something, I get all the lessons on how little I understand it. So, okay. But in all humility, I want to say also that, like, beginning to understand the nature of love and, like, the love that Christ was holding and walking with and brought to us as a transmission, like, now that's what I want to feel, you know, that's what I want to really, like you say, like, we have these little passions and curiosities and goals on the path, on the healing path, the spiritual path.
Yeah.
And they're so important, you know, because then we can look back one day and we're like, wow, I did it. Like, I got here.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah. I feel like that is a good place to end
Perfect. Yeah.
this
It's been beautiful.
particular session.
Okay.
What a joy. What a joy to be able to go in with you and look and see and work and move things and heal and learn. So I feel so blessed.
Me too. Thank you, Joel. Thank you so much. May it spread throughout the earth. May the healing spread throughout the earth and go to all the places. And even this transmission, you know, this beautiful podcast, like, may it reach those who need it. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So, thank you, Schuyler.
Namaste.
And to all of you, I invite you to make a little room for healing in your lives. And I will see you next time.